take another analogy from Paul's first letter to Timothy, if you recall it, he used the idea behind a shipwreck. People's faith have been shipwrecked. He calls out, get this was interesting, and I'll get to it in a second. He calls out two other individuals in that first letter to Timothy. Do you remember who they were? Hymenaeus and Alexander. Now, what I thought about was there are several years between the first letter that Paul wrote to Timothy and this final letter, several years. And in the first letter, he's like, Hymenaeus is a problem and needs to be cut off. All these years later, Hymenaeus is still a cancer. See, there's really only three positions or postures when it comes to the truth of God's word. And if you think about a lighthouse as our landmark, it'll help me make it clear where each category and where you fall into those three. The first one is God's word does not change. So we either adjust to God's word, we either heed the lighthouse, or the second category, we are going to hit the lighthouse. Shipwrecked. Lighthouse is not moving. The lighthouse is inevitable. We either heed the lighthouse or your marriage is about to hit the lighthouse. Your life is about to hit the lighthouse. And here's the next level, the third category. It's very rare, but it needs to be called out. Those that hit the lighthouse, their life is in devastation. They take it to a whole nother level, and they hate the lighthouse. You either heed the lighthouse, hit the lighthouse, or you will hate the lighthouse. People that hate the lighthouse, they spend the rest of their ministry or their life trying to convince people of different doctrines, false doctrines, or altogether what is called deconstruction, a complete departure from faith. Have you heard the lighthouse analogy way back when? Most have, some might not. The battleship cruising in a dense fog, seeing a light off in the horizon. The captain decides to signal to that light, alter your course 10 degrees south. The response came back, alter your course 10 degrees north. The captain was irritated. He got back and said, this is the captain speaking, alter your course 10 degrees south. The response came back, this is a seaman, second class speaking, alter your course 10 degrees north. The captain, irritated, got back on and said, I am a battleship. I command you to alter your course 10 degrees south. A pause, and then the response, I am a lighthouse. Your call. See, let's jump back into the first letter and let's go a little bit deeper. And here's why this matters. 1 Timothy 1:20, he writes about faith being shipwrecked, hitting the lighthouse, and those that hate the lighthouse, of whom are Hymenaeus, there he is again, and Alexander, who was a coppersmith, but probably should have been more known to be a copperhead. He was a snake. Paul says, I delivered to Satan that they may learn not to blaspheme. Now stop, because I thought we wanted to deliver people from Satan. What is Paul doing delivering people to Satan? This is the ugly part of ministry that most people want to avoid or ignore or altogether sugarcoat. See, there are some, like Paul, that must be delivered over to the domain of the devil. Why the domain of the devil? What does it mean to deliver someone over to the domain of the devil? That's the place of lies. So the excommunication or the separation isn't necessarily a punishing as much as it's a purging. We've jacked up church discipline. I don't know how we got there. Church discipline is something that happens on the micro level. Did you know that? Church discipline, when you are keeping somebody accountable, when you are approaching them in love and you're speaking truth, it happens one-on-one first, in private. The percentage of one receiving what you have to say in private increases than if you did it in public in front of people where they would feel shame or judged. Are you understanding this? It is only when the one is not willing to receive the complaint or the concern that you go and find a trusted brother and or sister who knows them, who can come and then apply more pressure. And it is only then, if not received, that it comes to the leadership or the elders of the church. That's Matthew 18 rightly applied. The tradition of this, people bring their complaints, their concerns directly to the top. I'm like, one, I don't know that person as well as you know that person. Two, I wasn't there to witness it or hear what they said that you're saying they said. That's hearsay. What am I? This isn't in my notes. I feel Spirit-led to just compel us. If we began to take that one component seriously, how much health would come to this body, right? It would diminish gossip and slander because it's easy to tell somebody else about a complaint or concern that I have as opposed to going to that person themselves. And when it comes to the top, let's call it, that is when Paul's like, hey, that person needed to be given over. The ultimate hope is that they are figuratively burned in order that they learn. The ultimate hope is that they're burned so as to return.